Hello everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at Danmaku Unlimited 2. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. This is a brand new bullet hell shooter from Doragon, and it is available on Steam now. It is $4 for the opening week sale, and it will be $5 after that. And I'm just gonna, I'm gonna lay it straight for you right now. I am absolutely in love with this game. I'm having a blast. I've put in about half an hour at this point, and I've loved every second of it. So let me kind of just give you a brief overview of what's going on here. So we've got arcade mode, which splits into burst mode and classic mode. I have not played the original of this game, and considering it is numbered number 2, I'm assuming it is a sequel. I may have to check out the original out, but this classic mode, I'm assuming, follows, like it says, an evolution of the mechanics from the original. I prefer the burst mode. I've tried a little bit of both now. It just changes the shooting mechanics a little bit. So, like I said, it does have arcade mode, which splits into those two modes, where basically you play through the 5 stages in succession. Or it has 2 bonus modes. One is boss rush, which is exactly what you think it would be. It's play through the bosses right in a row, or free play. And this is actually one of my favorite things about this game right now, is that you can just jump into any of the 5 stages from the get-go. I have not finished all 5 stages. It's a pretty tough game. I've finished the first 2 stages, I think, and I've given some tries at some of the other ones. Pardon that noise. Hopefully you can't hear that. Someone's doing some yard work outside. Anyways, so what I'm going to do here, I think, is I'm going to jump into maybe the first few stages and just kind of show off what's going on with the game at various difficulties. So I'm going to start with stage 1. I've been playing on normal because normal seems to work best with me. So here's the way this works. You basically get points for completing levels, and you kind of get to level up and spend your points however you want. So I will explain RDS. Lives is what you think it is. Continues is also what you think it is. And then this chooses your bullets in the way it works. I'm just going to play with wide because that's what I prefer, but brief overview. Focus just gives you kind of a straight shot focused on the middle. Track gives you a weak straight shot, but also has side shots that kind of track towards the enemies. And wide is, again, exactly what you think it will be. You will actually get to see wide in this video. Maybe if I have some time, I will show off the others. But so this is how we're jumping in. I will say I'm playing with my Xbox 360 controller. It feels better than playing with keyboard. So yeah, this is the game. This is what we're doing here. First of all, I want to say, looks absolutely fantastic. One of the best looking shmups that I've ever played. And as well, it sounds absolutely fantastic. It's kind of a tricky spot there. I'm playing on normal, and I will die a few times, just as fair warning, but I found easy to be very, very easy. So one of the biggest things I'm going to say about the game is that as far as like bullet hell games go, this is probably one of the more accessible ones that I've tried, and I haven't played that many bullet hell games, so I'm not, the most experienced person to be talking about that kind of thing. But some of my favorites were Ikaruga, and then Jamestown was kind of a bullet hell. It didn't quite make it to the maybe bullet hell kind of thing. I guess on harder difficulties it did. So those two are kind of my biggest experiences with bullet hell games in the past. And I had a very, very, very special kind of spot of nostalgia for Ikaruga. This may be my favorite bullet hell game since Ikaruga. Normally with bullet hell games, I maybe play the first few levels and then put them down, pretty much done with them. I will be sinking a ton of time into Danmaku Unlimited 2. Okay, so I did die there, which is unfortunate because you lose all of your meters, which I'll kind of go over here in just a second. before that, I do want to say, in addition to the art being absolutely fantastic, the music is so good. Like, it's basically exactly the soundtrack I would want to hear for this kind of game. And, okay, so here we have our boss. And if you are watching the meter at the top, it may seem like it's going fast. Yeah, this boss has like 6 patterns, basically. So each time that meter goes down, you get a new bullet pattern that the boss uses, basically, is how that works out. Let me see if I can use... Yeah, alright, so this is our beam. Alright, so we have a couple powers. So I don't actually have enough of the other power, and I may actually have to jump into a level on easy to show that off. But the beam gives kind of a big focused beam through the middle, which also blocks incoming bullets, which is really helpful. So yeah, so art is fantastic, music is absolutely fantastic, it just gets me like pumped up, ready to go for this game. And then, as far as kind of other aspects, presentation-wise, this is probably one of the most well-presented bullet hell shooters I've ever seen. And you know, some of the things I'm talking. Okay, cool. So I did get the others. So this is the trance state, where basically your bullets are much more powerful, and that'll finish up that level. So I think what I'll do is I want to jump in. And obviously I'm just going to get obliterated, but I want to jump into the last level on the highest difficulty, because I know what a lot of people are going to be here for is to see how hard is Danmaku Unlimited 2. Well, I promise you, it is tough. Like I said, I can't do more than normal. I'm going to last for a few seconds here if my kind of test of this earlier was any indication, and then it just gets insane. So, I mean, the normal mode here is more difficult. I mean, the extreme mode here is more difficult than the boss on that other level in normal. So this gets, like, way too crazy for me. So that is... The point of that was to show, obviously, just kind of what to expect difficulty-wise. So maybe as well... I think I'll jump in here. I'm still going to stick with burst mode. Classic mode doesn't change all that much. And I'll just do level 2. Maybe I will try track, just to show off a bit of some of the other shooting styles. So one of the things about presentation, which I was going to mention, is that if you look at the enemies, maybe not these, so those ones, yeah, they have a percentage on them that actually gives their health, and it's really subtle, but that is something that I have found so incredibly useful already, because a lot of times, especially for bigger enemies, because you know, smaller enemies are just gonna blow up, whatever, no big deal, but a lot of times with kind of bullet hell shooters like this, I run into problems because I feel like I'm just pumping bullets into someone and nothing's happening. But with this, I can totally see that I'm making progress, and I know when an enemy is close to death. Of course, I don't always have time to look at it. Yeah, we have kind of a mini-boss here. That's cool. So there are mini-bosses as well. So another thing, of course, to talk about with bullet hell shooters is kind of your personal hitbox, because that's always, in my opinion anyways, that's always kind of an important aspect to how the game works. Your hitbox is the small circle in the middle of your ship. So, I believe, if I'm thinking about that correctly, I think it's a little bigger than that circle, but that's basically the area. So like the front or the like wings of my ship, I believe, can get hit and be okay. Which makes sense, because a lot of these are like really tight squeezes. You know, as they typically are in this kind of game. But that's kind of your nice little visual indicator of where to make sure not to run into bullets. Yeah, which I demonstrated there by immediately running into a bullet. But, you know, that pretty much covers kind of the mechanics of the game, basically what's going on that maybe is to be expected, as well as some things that maybe are done a little differently in this game. I love the different kind of things that you can do as far as shooting. So you can use these beams, which I'm going to... I was trying to do it so that I didn't get hit because I was in kind of a tight spot. So, I mean, you can see here that even on stage 2, we are fighting a much harder boss than we were on stage 1. And this is the same difficulty as stage 1. So, that is that aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, overall, just kind of like the feel for the game, and of course, you know, like I said, this is coming from the perspective of someone who's not played a ton of games like this. This one seems much more accessible than some of the ones I've tried. And it really does remind me in a lot of ways of, like, Ikaruga. Because my thing with Ikaruga was that as bad as I was at these kind of games, I always felt like I could do okay at that one. I always felt I could do okay at Jamestown. And I feel that I can do okay at this one. I mean, I'm not great, certainly not. But I feel like with practice, I could do harder difficulties. So, you know, not only do I think this is a good recommendation if you're just typically into this kind of game, I love this too. This is so cool. One of my favorite things about these kind of games, of course, is the crazy bullet patterns that you get, and this boss has some wild ones. So yeah, and you know, not only is this highly recommended if you are normally into bullet hell shooters, but even if you're not, I think this is a good one that to kind of get you into it. So the only other thing that I haven't really mentioned is the grazing system, and I'll just kind of go over that real quick. You may have seen that in the top left corner. That's just like as you graze by bullets, so just kind of like barely missing bullets. You basically get higher multiplayer. Higher multiplier. Wow. Multiplayer. No, it's not multiplayer. Multiplier. Goodness. So I'm just gonna end this out by kind of playing a little bit more and just kind of wrapping up my thoughts here. So, you know, like I said, from my point of view, this is a very, very good one. So this is just to show up classic mode a little bit. It's a little different. Instead of having the beam, you can actually focus your shots into a more powerful focused beam at any point. So, a little different. You still have trance mode, but as far as I can tell, that is the only difference. And of course, you have to collect the stars and diamonds and stuff to kind of facilitate those beams. But yeah, that's really the only difference as far as I can tell between Burst and Classic. I prefer Burst, but I'll probably play a bunch of both, honestly. So, kind of in conclusion of my thoughts here, you know, like I said, definitely recommend this if you are typically into this kind of game. And in addition to that, if you're not, and normally you're kind of turned off by how difficult they can be, this one is very accessible. You know, and the biggest thing, like I said, was the fact that you can, from the beginning, play any stage on any difficulty. You don't have to like beat the stage once in arcade mode to unlock it for free play. You can just jump right in and practice playing through the stages. You can jump in and practice playing the bosses. And that's not something I see done very often, so that is a huge plus in my mind. But yeah, I mean, if you couldn't tell, I'm definitely excited about this game. I'm going to be putting a ton more time into it. I hope that people like it, and you know, I think that people will, honestly. And you know, I really got to stress that it's $4 right now. Like, that is a super good deal. So you really can't go wrong with this, especially if this is a game that you would normally like anyways. You know, here's my confirmation that it's good. If you wanted confirmation that it's a good first kind of bullet hell game, here's that as well. I highly recommend it on all fronts for really basically anyone. So yeah, I'm loving it. I think you will too. So as always, feel free to leave comments if there's anything that you would like to comment on. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos every single day, and if you liked my look at Danmaku Unlimited 2, please consider clicking the like button, because that helps me out a lot, and I appreciate everything that you do to help. So with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.